Good to have you with us. You're watching The Big Story with me, Avni Raja, and our continuing coverage on what's happening with regard to the war in Ukraine. It's the second consecutive day Russia continues its unabated attacks on Ukraine. Reports coming in of more strikes in multiple cities and videos emerging of massive destruction. In the latest, Ukraine is reporting clashes and armored vehicles advancing through the northern district of its capital, Kiev. This as Russian forces close in on Kiev. Russia has carried out a series of missile strikes, mainly on key government and military installations, quickly followed by a three-pronged ground assault. Thousands of Ukrainians have fled the country. More than 130 people have been killed. Meanwhile, in an address to his nation, Ukrainian president said he believes he's currently Russia's #1 target, but has no intention of leaving the country. Ukrainian president has also appealed to Russia for a ceasefire and that West should do more than just place economic sanctions on Russia.
First of all, because in all my life, I haven't seen the war so near to us, to Poland, to Przemysl. So it's quite terrifying.
I had a message from my friends. They woke me up with a phone call informing me that there was the first sign of military actions against Ukraine. And so we had like a last-ditch emergency plan just to meet on the railway station and see where it can take us. We were not organized seriously. And when I left my home, going for the railway station, first I heard perhaps a supersonic missile or a shell flying over my head. It was an unmistakable loud sound of something just rushing past by, and then it was followed by a huge explosion somewhere downtown or all of the outskirts of the city.
While refusing to intervene against Russia on ground, U.S. President Joe Biden announced that U.S. troops will not go to Russia. America has announced a new round of sanctions targeting Russia after its invasion of Ukraine. He said that Russian leader Putin chose this war and that his country will bear the consequences of his actions. But it's not just US. Several other countries, including UK, Canada and Australia, have imposed fresh sanctions on Russia. UK and US, in fact, have frozen all assets of major Russian banks in the country. Australia has imposed sanctions as well, targeting several of Russia's elite citizens and lawmakers. Australian Prime Minister, meanwhile, Scott Morrison, has criticized China for easing restrictions on trade with Russia. Well, those are the details here as far as the economic sanctions on Russia are concerned. But remember, Ukraine has been maintaining from the beginning that economic sanctions are not enough and obviously have not made any difference to Putin. Ukraine wants the world and other countries to do more in terms of helping out at this point in time. But US, they're clearly saying that they are not going to send in any troops to Ukraine at this point in time, but more sanctions will be imposed.